purses, wallets, and other.
9 people were arrested in what police are calling a large criminal enterprise involving people burglarizing vehicles at Austin parks.
Over the past 4 weeks, members of North Metro Tactical Response Unit collaborated with APD Region 1 Criminal Investigations Division, APD Financial Crimes, patrol units, the Travis County Parks Police, and the City of Austin Parks and Recreation Department to build a proactive enforcement.
Green says Mount Bonnell is a known hotspot for car break-ins. On January 31st, officers found a shattered car window, with the owner reporting that her purse was missing. The bag was recovered, but the bank cards were gone.
We have recovered stolen property from many of the victims involved in these senseless crimes.
A woman with an active warrant for her arrest identified herself to police. They later learned the 21-year-old gave them a fake name. Detectives searched the suspect's car. Here's what was inside: the victim's money, along with meth, fentanyl, and dozens of gift cards. The following day, they got the real ID on Armony White and made the arrest.
We did have knowledge about these cases. Vehicle burglaries are very hard to detect. It's a lot of timing and just opportunity and a lot of resource allocation.
The North Metro Tactical Response soon realized a warrant was issued for White a week earlier for a probation violation related to aggravated assault with a deadly weapon conviction. They caught White during a traffic stop, who, once again, gave them a fake name, but officers were well aware of who she was at this point and took her in again.
The goal of the operation was to target known offenders of these crimes in an effort to reduce the number of incidents. As a result of these efforts,
with her, 34 gift cards, which are believed to have been bought with stolen debit and credit cards. 3 days later, reports of 4 people peeking into cars near the Emma Long Metropolitan Park.
The tips from the community have been used to help us in making arrests, and we want to express our gratitude to those who have come forward to assist us in our investigation.
Patrol officers were able to find the suspect's vehicle at Red Bud Trail based on the description. Deshauna Pinson, Jayana Smith, Heaven Carter, and Jamila Westmoreland were all put behind bars. In the same area, another car break-in reported, but this time at the Red Bud Isle Park. A witness got a photo of the suspect's car registered to Rakisha Thompson. She used the victim's stolen card at Target with another woman, and police took Thompson into custody a few days later.
Offenses varying from engaging in organized criminal activity, credit card abuse, failure to identify, request to apprehend, burglary of a vehicle, and driving without a license.
Last Monday, Carter bonded out. Then, Destiny Thomas and another woman were ID'd from a previous incident at Bull Creek Park. Police found Carter in a car with Westmoreland and Natalia Jackson. Lastly, Artrell Vincent was caught early February at Bull Creek Park, but turned himself in last week.
Police tape at Akins Early College High School. Students and teachers inside.
School was in session
while a shooting happened nearby. Campus was under hold, meaning no one was allowed to enter or leave the building for about an hour and a half.
We know there was a verbal altercation between the victim and the suspect with the gun.
Austin Police Detective Brian Petrowski says on Tuesday at around 2:30 in the afternoon, a 14-year-old shot a 17-year-old Akins student.
Austin Travis County EMS medics found a juvenile patient that sustained a single gunshot wound to the back. During transport, the patient was in serious condition, but they were alert and talking, and just had potentially life-threatening injuries.
Police say 2 14-year-old suspects, one a current Akins student, the other a former Akins student, were found within a mile of where the shooting happened.
One of the suspects detained was found in possession of a firearm.
They were arrested. One is charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, the other charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. Police say these teenage suspects are known to law enforcement and have a history.
All of our campuses, we ask that they're vigilant each day and continue to follow the protocols that we have in place. We feel like the protocols we have in place do ensure or help us to keep our campuses safe.
Chief Sneed says they've increased the number of officers on campus. The principal of Akins says counseling services are available for anyone impacted.
Up until early this year, 6th Street was closed to cars on weekend nights. But this year, the city started a pilot project, opening the street to cars in an effort to bring down crime. They started on Thursday and Sunday evenings, then added Friday and Saturday evenings. The proposal bringing mixed reactions when first introduced.
My hope is whatever they implement will help to alleviate the big party scene that's on 6th Street that is causing a lot of the problems with the street.
Opening 6th Street, putting cars where pedestrians are, causes a problem.
In a city memo with preliminary data, Police Chief Lisa Davis says they've seen fewer arrests, use of force cases, and officer injuries. Data compares numbers from the beginning of this year to mid-February with the same time frame last year. It shows arrests are down 11% on 6th Street. Crimes against persons dropped 21%, and the number of simple assaults dropped by 33%. The memo says use of force is down 50%, and officers note fewer fights in the entertainment district. They also note more police visibility and traffic enforcement could be helping. Mayor Kirk Watson addressing the results in a talk at a luncheon with the Real Estate Council of Austin.
We're already making a big difference. I think this council's dedication to doing what it's doing with regard to public safety and the manager making some of the changes that he's made, including hiring a permanent police chief, having a new set of eyes, makes a difference. They're early numbers. It's a pilot project, and we call it that for a reason because we're studying it. But we're seeing the success we were hoping to see as a result of that pilot, and we're seeing good results.
No contact with her whatsoever. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Michael Lewis of Denton, Texas is reportedly the man behind sexually violent and harassing messages sent to Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Some of the messages include claims he was driving around her home. Court documents say when the FBI traced Lewis's messages, they discovered he was in Indianapolis, which police say was especially concerning. In January, law enforcement showed up at the hotel. Lewis told officers he was in Indianapolis from Texas on vacation. Then he admitted to having a, quote, imaginary relationship with Clark. Lewis is charged with felony stalking.
Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean there aren't real-world consequences.
Heather Bellino with Texas Advocacy Project says if you have a stalker, take it seriously.
Get support, get resources, safety plan, and you may have to change some of your behaviors and patterns for a period of time until you can get that long-term safety.
Clark told police she feared for her safety and had even changed her public appearance once learning about Lewis.
One of the things that we're trying to figure out is what's the scope of what we're dealing with here. It's certainly our hope to recover the phones that were involved in this process to get a better understanding of what was this individual specifically looking at. Was there direct messages that maybe we're not aware of at this point?
It's estimated. This is the resignation letter from the original prosecutor on the Stephen Morrison murder case. When you zoom in on the date, it's January 22nd, effective immediately.
In this particular case, our office observed problems with a 20-year veteran prosecutor. We immediately took actions. A new prosecutor was assigned. That prosecutor did a fabulous job. Reached out to the victim's family, got the case indicted well before the hearing on the motion to reduce bond.
But not in enough time to have Morrison stay in jail. In Texas, if the state isn't ready for trial in 90 days, a judge must reduce the suspect's bond or release them. Travis County District Attorney's Office still had 9 business days to present this case to a grand jury after the resignation of the original prosecutor, but failed to do so.
Did they just not have it on the calendar then, that it needed to be the 90 days?
Well, as I said, we had challenges with a prosecutor. We took action. That prosecutor is no longer with us. The newly assigned prosecutor immediately got to work, did all of the work that it takes to get a case indicted, and did that on the 91st day.
Morrison's attorney requested his client be released. A judge reduced Morrison's bond from $800,000 to $100. Morrison was able to bond out.
The judge in this case had the tools to keep our community safe and failed to use those tools.
After receiving scrutiny online, including from Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the DA's office requested the judge to increase the bond amount. In a hearing last month, the judge increased it to $100,000 and Morrison was taken back to jail.
We're grateful that he's back in custody.
The DA clarified for Fox 7 after we discovered the discrepancy. About a month before the 90-day deadline for this case, we encountered management challenges with the prosecutor in charge of this case. We demoted her, and she resigned the next day. A new prosecutor, returning from parental leave, took over that case. There was about a week gap between the prior prosecutor's resignation and the second prosecutor's return. The new prosecutor quickly identified the case nearing the deadline, contacted the victim's family, scheduled a grand jury presentation, and successfully indicted the case on the 91st day.
In fact, this is an example of one of our lines. You can see all the different types of threads right here. These are fiber optic lines. There's no copper in these. And what actually takes some time is that, the restoration teams that go out there, they have to really delicately go about and try to connect these fiber lines back together with the other part of the damaged line.
Craig Savali, a spokesman for Spectrum, says Wednesday on Gracie Farms Drive in North Austin, a suspect cut the company's fiber optic cable lines. The vandalism caused outages that lasted for hours.
The damage that's committed is quite significant, across the entire injury. I mean, this problem in general has been significant across our entire industry.
There have been several similar cases in the Austin area over the last few years. Vandals on the hunt for copper causing outages, and the North Austin area has been targeted before.
Last year, the Internet and Television Association, they reported that there was nearly 4,000 fiber cuts, either vandalism or theft, that were done across the country in essentially a 3-month window of time. So that's nearly 1,300 a month, more than that. And so it's really a significant issue that the entire industry is seeing.
The internet service provider says these acts of vandalism are not only a crime, but also affect customers, businesses, and emergency services. This is why the company is offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to the suspect.
And whether it's the neighborhood there in North Austin, whether it's the school system or the hospital in your neighborhood that relies on connectivity, the police station, the emergency services. I mean, this is no longer a privilege. This is something that we rely on to operate in our daily lives. And so the vandals that are doing this need to stop, and they need to be impacted. They need to be caught.
A public school official has been arrested in Round Rock. 49-year-old Aaron Freeman is charged with indecency with a child by contact. We're told he is the assistant principal of operations at Idea Public Schools. Police say a student reported the incident, prompting an immediate investigation. Detectives obtained an arrest warrant from the DA's office. Freeman was located by U.S. Marshals and taken into custody. He is currently being held in the Williamson County Jail. Tonight, the Idea Public Schools issued a statement saying, quote, Idea Round Rock Tech is aware of an arrest made involving a staff member for allegations of inappropriate behavior with a student. The staff member was arrested off campus on administrative leave. We are working in collaboration with law enforcement and taking appropriate actions in accordance with the law and network policy. Idea takes these allegations seriously and is committed to prioritizing the safety and well-being of staff and students.